Welcome back everyone to our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 19, and it is a huge day here on the farm for us. There's a lot that I want to try to get to. We'll see if we can get it all done in one video or if we're going to have to split this up, but there is a lot I want to get accomplished. Up until this point, we have purchased a couple of areas which will give us access to Field 3 as well as Field 2. And then we focused on horses in order to try to get our income level up as much as possible, even though it's only about every 10 days. But we have reached the time where it's time to cash in on our horses once again. And then we're going to use that money to do some, what I think are much needed improvements to the area to make this start feeling more like our farm rather than just some random buildings that we've thrown around. But before we can get started with that, we need to get busy working these oats. So let's hop into our combine. Let's see. We do not need the straw. We still are fine on straw, but let's actually go ahead and take a look real quick. Scroll all the way over to the end, and yeah, we still have 193,000. Yeah, we don't need any straw right now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and hire a worker to get started. Let's make sure he gets started going just fine. Okay, he is indeed. Now I've already got a mower lined up as well as our tractor here who's got the tipper attached. So we're good as far as all of that goes. But now let's hop back out because I want to show you a couple of things. Now of course we need to sell off our horses and then buy new horses that we can then train and make money on, but we'll get to that in just a second. I want to show you guys something I'm very excited about, and I know it's odd to be this excited about a gas tank, but I picked this up in the official mod hub, and to me, I just think this looks awesome. It's a very clean model. It's just an amazing looking model, and it fits so perfectly right in this area in between the horse paddocks. So I'm very happy about that. It didn't cost very much at all. And the good thing is, each time I come by to fill up our tractors, it does actually cost us money. So it's not free as the water tank over there ended up being every time. So we do pay for the fuel still, but it is a great addition to the farm, and it keeps me from having to drive to the gas station in order to refuel. All right, so now the fun part, where we get to earn all the money. We're actually going to let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and move all of these guys over. I wish there was a way to do this a little bit quicker. All right, and we need some new ones. And it doesn't really matter to me which ones we get. I do have my favorites, such as this particular color pattern. That, to me, just looks beautiful. And let's go ahead and fill up the rest of these guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yes, 8. So we have all we need there. That's going to give us a net result of $355,200. And of course, we're going to have small fees there because we are choosing not to purchase or lease a trailer and do all of these transfers ourselves. So we're going to end up with selling out all of our fully trained horses and getting some brand new ones. Let's go ahead and confirm that. That's $355,000 that we just added to the bank. Now we need to do the same thing over in the other area. Now I've already filled up the water, straw, oats, and hay. I did that a day or so ago in game time, so you can see they're not quite all maxed out, but that's been a couple of days in game time. But now we're not going to have to worry about those for several more days. So we are going to be free to do a lot of other things. So now let's come in and let's sell off all of these horses that are fully trained, worth $50,000 each. And then let's get 2 of each of the new type. Lots and lots of clicking. Let's see, did I get one? Yeah, there we go. There's the second one. So I'm still looking for a little bit more improvement to this whole, these screens here, this interface. I just don't like having to go through all of this for each one. We'll have to see what it looks like whenever we get to some of the other animals, but hopefully it won't be quite this bad. All right, so we now have 2 of the black horses. Let's pick up a couple of the seal brown, and then finally, okay, so let's make sure. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. Okay, yeah, we should be good to go. And now, taking a look at our total here. So we purchased $80,000 worth of horses. We're going to sell $800,000 worth of horses, and we're going to pay a fee of $9,600, which is quite a bit, but nothing compared to the time it's saving us from not having to do those transfers. Let's go ahead and confirm that. And now you can see we are up over $1 million. So basically we netted about $1 million, just over that, for all of those horses. So now we are in good shape. Let's go ahead and bring up our menu. So all of these guys are now worth $2,900, almost $3,000. But we start back over at 5%, and we'll train them and do better from there. Let's actually hop back over and see how we're doing here. So he is in need of being emptied, so we'll go ahead and do that before we move on with some other purchases, because there's a lot we can do with $1 million. But first we need to get this guy emptied, and once we get him emptied, we'll move on to purchasing some land and putting down some much needed buildings so that this starts to feel more and more like a farm. All right, so as I had planned, as I told you last time, I have been planning on just keeping all of the oats that we harvest, as well as the grass and hay, just keeping all that rather than selling it off, so that we could try to keep as much of it in stock as possible, and it's worked out great. I actually haven't harvested this field very much at all since the last time we were together, and that's been by design, simply because we didn't need the extra oats, and I had no plans of selling it, so it really wasn't worth the time of coming in here to do that, because I needed that time to do some other things. Alright, so it looks like we finally caught up with him. We'll give him a few more seconds here as we get toward the end of this particular row. Might as well go ahead and get all he's got to offer. Then we will add this to our grain silo, and then we'll be on about bigger and better things. All right, there we go. So we're in good shape now at this point. And you also notice I have moved our equipment out of the way. So while we're over here, you can see we've got equipment all the way back up against that back wall, which is land that we do not own. And I don't believe we can actually even purchase that, because that's the edge of the map back there. And then we've got a few pieces of equipment regarding our hay that are over here to the side, and that's because I want to try to get some storage buildings in here. So I tried to move everything out of the way and give us an opportunity to place some things in here. I have no idea how this is going to place. I got another mod that adds some new, I think, very nice looking storage buildings to the mix, and I'm very excited to see exactly how that's going to work out. So now let's come into our menu. We're going to go to the map, and we're going to click on the lands tab so that we can now have an opportunity to purchase land. So we've got 2 areas that I definitely want to purchase. One is over here that includes the railroad silo, which not really necessary because I'm not terribly interested in that. And oh, look at that. It does, our land does include over here. Okay, I did not think it did. So that's good to know. So we've got this area over here next to field 3, 448,000. We're not quite ready for that because it doesn't give us a field in there, which we're going to need going forward. So we're going to purchase the area that includes field number 1 for $313,000. So do we want to buy this? We absolutely want to buy this. All right, and that'll take care of that portion of it. Let's move out of the way here a little bit. Let's see, do we need, yeah, we're going to need lime on this. So that's just a reminder for me that I'm going to have to spread some lime on that field before we get going again. All right, so now let's come into the storefront and let's go to, let's see, let's start out with the miscellaneous, because I want to put down a vehicle workshop. And this is something that just is more of an aesthetic for me. I know you can do repairs through the menu, and that's what I've been doing to this point, but I kind of like the idea of having a workshop here on the farm just for the aesthetics of it. And I would like to put it right over here if I can get, let's see, let's spin this around to see if we can get this. I would really, really like to put it right here in this area. Okay, actually this works out well. Okay, I kind of like it right about there. All right, excellent. Now let's head over and actually see what that looks like. And most importantly, let's see what the terrain modification did. It cost us a little over $28,000 to do that. Let's see how the leveling and the transitions. Okay, it seems like that's not going to be a big issue. It's fairly level, and the transitions are very smooth between the two things. So now this should be really good. So of course we've got the workshop, and we can customize or repair our vehicles. Perfect. That is exactly what I want this for, and I think it's going to be a great addition to our farm. All right, so now we need to come back into the storefront, and let's start putting down some sheds. Okay, of course, we've got the default sheds that come with the game, but what I'm more interested in is this mod that I picked up. Look at all of these sheds. These look amazing. Now, I don't think we're going to have room for the 6-door. Let's actually just double-click on that one and say, oh my goodness, that is huge. I love it. I absolutely love that. All right, where can... All right, so we do actually have the ability... Let's see, if we turn this... rotate, that's actually not bad. I did not expect to be able to put that in there. Let's go ahead and spin around here if I could hit the right keys. Oh yeah, I'm liking this. So now the question is, which way do I want to face this? And you can clearly tell I am not doing a whole lot of planning ahead of time, because this is more fun for me. If I sit down and plan it all out like an architect, or you know, any kind of a planner, then it takes some of the fun out of it for me. I like doing this sort of on the fly, even if it means that I don't quite get what I'm expecting. All right, we just have enough air. You can see I don't get to move this around very much as far as closer to the horse paddock and the water. All right, I like that. I like that a lot. Now, which way is this thing currently facing is another question. Looks like that is... Okay, so this is the back. All right, so this is actually going to be facing out toward the street. I like that. Our other option is to have it facing the other direction, which is going to be over towards some of our other storage. It really doesn't matter that much to me which way this ends up being. But now I think I've talked myself into facing it the other way for some other storage. Let's see, is that going to work? Can I spin this over enough? Because I don't want to get in the way, if possible, over here. But I don't know that that's going to be possible. The real question is, why can't I put it like right there? Interesting. All right, so I would like to put it about right there. Of course, another option is to put it about in this area. Something like, yeah, it just really does not want me to put that down right about here, which is where I want it, right about, I should say about here. So it would stay out of the way. It says it collides with an object, and I don't know what object that is, because we're far enough away from the horses. All right, so I'm going to try to get this lined up as best I can and try to get this thing rotated. And we're going to give a little bit of room because we are going to have some other things here on the farm. But let's put it right about there. All right, so that took quite a bit of time. Let's see how the leveling went out. All right, we definitely got some dips over here in this area. But overall, in the front area, it looks great. And of course, this looks amazing. And we can open up all these gates. Let's go ahead and do that. Love this. I'll probably leave them open for the most part because I kind of like looking at my equipment as we're doing all the work. But I do love the fact that you can open this up. Yeah, this is great. And this is going to have 6 slots here, so that is awesome. And it didn't cost us all that much either. A little over $50,000, I think, is what we ended up paying for that. All right, so now let's come back under the sheds. And let's see. What do we want to do? How big is the 4? Okay, the 4 is actually pretty good size. Let's spin this thing around. Do we have enough room to put it in like right here? And the answer is maybe. And I mean just maybe. All right, what about some other areas? Of course, we might. Let's see, do we have the ability? No. We cannot put it anywhere back here. We don't want to put it anywhere right here. Yeah, it's not going to let us put it anywhere back there, which would be great if we could put it right up against this edge over here, and that would be perfect against that wall. But it doesn't look like that is going to be an option. So if I spin this around, again, I want to make sure I leave some room in here, but I'm trying to make sure we don't get in the way of the hay barn too much, because that certainly would not be good. All right, that one, I'm not sure about that one. We'll come back to that. But now I want to see how we can do with this. Can we place, oh my goodness, why can't we place right here? Can we place, okay, we can place right about there. Again, we're sort of leaving ourselves not a lot of room there. All right, this is a 4. I'll tell you what, let's see what the 6 looks like over here. All right, let's make sure we get it aligned correctly because I want it facing in toward the farm. Oh yeah, I never would have dreamed that I was going to be able to get a 6 over here, but we might just pull this off. So let's see, I need to leave ourselves a little bit of room to cut through this area and to get ourselves in. We're going to be severely limiting our room to sort of back up and pull out. So I'll have to keep that in mind, but looks like right there is pretty good. I might end up regretting that if I do that. Let's see if we can spin this thing around. Right about there. All right, let's go and see what that looks like. See, now we're getting to a point where it's starting to look like our farm, and that's ultimately what the goal is. So now we have 12 storage bays, and that is just awesome. Let's go ahead and continue opening these up. But these look very nice. I'm extremely pleased with the look of these. Very clean look to them. And again, the terrain leveling seems to be really good here. I mean, you notice we don't really have any big issues. Of course, we're going to have issues with the space right here, but I think we can align things to where that shouldn't be a huge issue for us. Hopefully, anyway. If not, then I guess that'll just be limited to what we can store there. All right, so that gives us 12 spots of storage. All right, excellent. We are looking good. So what we've accomplished so far is we purchased field number 1, or the area that contains field number 1. We sold off our horses, made a whole bunch of money. We still have 630,000 left on that. We placed our maintenance shop right over here. That is looking quite nice. Now we need to pick up some new equipment. So let's actually go back into our storefront. And one of the pieces of equipment I have talked about quite a bit. And again, if you were with me for our brief playthrough of FS17, then you know I love this huge Krone mower. And this game is no different. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to lease this. I don't really care about purchasing anything right now. So let's go ahead and lease this. Of course, it's going to cost us some money, but that's perfectly fine with me. And no upgrades that need to be done here. This is going to be a monster. It cuts basically 10 meters wide. It is a huge, huge cutting area. So let's go ahead and lease that. Yes, please. We would like to pick that up. All right, now let's come back out. So another thing I want to do is I want to look into a baler. We need to come in under the tools for that. And there we go, baling technology. Because one of the things I want to get into in the near future is cows. And cows need silage to greatly improve their yield. I'm not going to get into the perfect 100% for the cows. I'm not really all that interested in that. But one thing I do want to accomplish is getting some silage as well as grass for them, and then add the straw in so that we can get a good amount of money. Not perfect, but a good amount of money. And to this point, I've always just done silage what I would call the conventional way. You build a silage silo or find the one that's on your farm in previous games, and you would simply dump the grass or whatever in there that you plan on turning into silage. Then you would simply cover up the silo and then scoop it out or use the belt from there. I'm thinking about trying something a little bit different here and giving a shot to the Bale Wrapper. Now, we got a couple of baling options, but I'm kind of liking this Bale Wrapper option so that we can bale up the grass and turn it into silage immediately and for our purposes. So I'm kind of liking this idea. This is pretty sweet. And what we're going to do is go ahead and click on this again. No upgrades really there. We can change the color around. I'm not terribly worried about the foil color. But they do give you a few options. I tell you what, maybe I kind of like this brighter color. Make them stand out a little bit more when they're sitting on the field. All right, let's go ahead and lease that. All right, excellent. So that is good. So we've got our silage baler is what I'm going to call it for short. And then, of course, we've got our huge, huge mower. So now let's back our way out of that. And let's see. Oh, yep, we've wasted so much time. We did get lucky, though. This guy, we're not going to have to worry about any crop destruction because he's going the right direction for us. So we'll come back over and take care of this guy. And this is pretty awesome because we've gotten through nearly everything, and actually maybe everything that I had really wanted to accomplish in today's video. There we go. Let's get this guy unloaded. And then what I want to do is head back down to the store and pick up our new equipment. I want to see, again, because this is all new to me with the silage baler, or silage wrapper, I should say. That is all new to me. So I want to see if that will attach to the Krone mower. If it doesn't, that's no big deal. I can certainly take care of that separately. But I want to see. I want to see if it will and what we can do with that. I've got a lot to learn about this, and that is very exciting to me. As I said, I've done silage what I call the old-fashioned way of dumping the grass or whatever into the silage silo. So I'm going to try and learn a new way of doing it. So I got a lot of information I got to check up on after this video, and we get continuing on with our farm. All right, so we get this dumped out in there. So that's 2 loads that we have emptied. So once again, we are doing great. Let's see what we got there. You can see on the bottom, let's actually hop out for a second. So we got, of course, the baler, the main part here on the front, then it dumps it out into this area, and there is your wrapper, and I'm really happy right about now that I chose a brighter color there. All right, let's hop in. Nope, doesn't look like we're going to be able to put this on the back. Can we at least carry it? It's not going to be able to function, but can we at least carry it? Can we attach it? And yes. So we can at least attach it and carry it, but it's not going to work, I don't think. Actually, it's showing me the stuff like it actually will. So that is interesting. I may have to give that a test. I don't know how that's going to work. But, of course, I also don't know a lot of things about it that I've got to test. And I'll do that off camera so you guys don't have to watch me struggle through what works and what doesn't with this new equipment setup. But I will be sure to let you guys know when we come back in our next video as to what I was able to find, both in my research and in some fun testing that I plan to do. So once we get done in this particular area where we find ourselves right now, then it's going to be interesting. Where do we expand to next? And right now, of course, I know we've got a little bit more land that we can purchase right over next to Field 3. And I certainly want to do that. Let's actually pull up our map so we can see this. The area over to the right that we talked about earlier that includes the railroad silo to the west. That particular area, I do want to get there because I'm thinking about putting some more animals over there. I'm just not sure what all we can fit over there. I'm looking for a place to put cows. And right now we've got an area over to the left of Field 1 that we just purchased that is a prime spot. Same thing over to the right of Field 3 if we purchase that area. So there's a lot going on. But the good news is we have enough horses right now to give us basically $1 million net each time, and that is huge because that's going to make sure we have plenty of money for future expansion. And now as we pull in closer to our area, now it's starting to look like a farm over here. It looks like somebody's been building over here and taking up residence to actually work the land. All right, so for right now, we're just going to get this stuff over to the field, and I'm very excited to get busy working with our brand new field number 1. It's not a huge field by my standards and some of the maps I'm used to working on, but that's perfectly fine and not something that I think is going to be a huge issue going forward. I think it's going to provide us plenty of what we need. Now, the final thing I want to take a look at is another animal pen. Now, we've still got plenty of money left. That is a non-issue. If I can get it to open up, there we go. Let's see what we can do. So a $300,000 cow pasture would give us room for 200 cows. The smaller one, only 50. So it's clear that this is your better deal, but we got to have enough room for it, and I don't know that we do. So let's go ahead and look at that. That is huge. I love it. All right, so even if I decided to use this area, would it work? And I think the answer is yes, it would work. It's going to be very, very close, but I do think it'll work, and that makes me very happy. If I put it about right there, now I think we're going to get into some terrain issues by doing this. And while we've got this up, sort of in the bottom right-hand corner, the southwest corner, or excuse me, southeast corner of this particular enclosure, you can see we're going to have our area there for manure, and then right next to that there's an underground slurry tank that we're going to have. Looks like straw is right next to that, over to the bottom left or southwest corner. And then I believe as we work our way around the edge, I believe that's going to be water that's on the left-hand side there. And then finally, over by the shed on the far side, I believe is going to be the actual feed trough. So that's not bad. Now, I'm not going to play around too much with the grid snapping. In fact, there is no grid snapping right here as I'm trying to do that. All right, so I'm trying to keep it as far away from field 1 as I can because I do not want to disrupt that area. But I'm liking this right here, and let's place it. All right, that is awesome. So now let's walk over here and see what we've got. We have accomplished a ton today. Now, one thing that does do is field number 2 is no longer going to be workable for us other than some manual cutting of the grass that I can do here in this center area. Now, I'll be able to do that, but as far as the AI, probably not a whole lot they're going to be able to do. So let's take a look at our cow enclosure. So we've got, yes, our feeding troughs here on this side, and then as we work back around, this is going to be our animal dialogue where we will buy and sell. So excellent. Then we've got our water trough, and finally we'll come around to the far side. And we'll have over here, this is where we'll dump our straw, as well as our underground slurry tank, and then manure if we are able to get the manure. I can't remember what percentage of productivity you have to reach for the manure, but I'm not terribly worried about that. We could simply use that in the future if we decide to use that for natural fertilizer on the fields. But I'm very excited to get started right now. So let's go ahead and purchase a few cows, and that's what we'll end the video on, is picking up a few cows. Now, I don't think that this is going to make any difference. In fact, it looks like we've got basically the same thing. Now, the Brahman I'm not familiar with. Around this area, I am certainly not used to the Brahman, so I'm going to stick with these cows. $2,500 a piece. And the big difference here with the cows as opposed to the horses is that the cows, we can actually do animal husbandry. We'll get new cows that will be born on the farm along the way, whereas it doesn't work that way with the horses in game. So let's go ahead and we'll start out with one of each of these. Again, I'm going to stay away from the Brahma. I just don't really like the look of them. So that's $10,000. Let's go ahead and get 2 of each, and now that'll give us a total of 8, and then we'll just might as well make it an even 10 to get us started. Let's go ahead and confirm that. Now if we come back around to the side, there we go, we've got some cows in our area, and now I've got some work to do. We got to get busy cutting some grass and making some silage, all sorts of stuff like that we've got to do. But that's going to do it for now. We crammed a lot into this episode, and I am thrilled with everything we got done today. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue our gameplay series of Farming Simulator 19.